Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. My name is Dino. It is titled Introduction to Information Architecture. The specific focus of the video will be to introduce various information architecture concepts as well as four major components that are involved in it. For those of you who might be neophytes to the whole information architecture scene, you might want to know, well, what is information architecture? So we're starting with the definition. According to Babich, it is the art and science of organizing complex information clearly and logically so that users would easily find everything they need quickly and without much effort. A couple of points about this. Information architecture is obviously really important for complex information. If it's really simple information, you're not going to need to think so much about the way it's organized, the way it's labeled, etc., etc. So it's really more for complex information. To convey complex information in ways that are understandable, you want to make sure it's clear and logical. Otherwise, that will be problematic for a variety of users. And some of the goals, and we'll be talking about that next, you want to have it so that users can find the information they want quickly, easily, and without much effort. If it takes a long time, if it takes a lot of effort, that will frustrate users, and that'll make what you're doing much less useful to them. So you want to strive for those types of goals. I'm going to go to, again, more specific goals, but based on that, this is a definition by Arango. So it kind of it teases out a different part of what Babich was talking about. Here, Arango writes, information architecture creates clarity so people can lead better lives by choosing better. So this sort of pulls out the frame a little bit further back. So it talks mainly about clarity. Again, if information is clear, that is the gold standard. Like if it's clear, then people will understand it. That's great. And then I think in terms of information architecture, people often think about technology uses, and business uses. I like the idea of it talking about clarity so that people generally can lead better lives by choosing better. But it's just, which is, obviously the goal for any information. And then if you think about that, you can apply this sort of broader definition to something like a business case. If someone is presented with information in a business setting clearly, they should be able to get it more quickly, more easily, and they would lead a better business life because, again, they'll be making better choices. They'll be helping their teams choose better, their clients, etc., etc. I talked before about the components. We're going to be talking about four major components of information architecture. They're from Usability.gov. The first component, or one of four, is structure. And more broadly, organization, schemes, and structures. And for this, according to Usability.gov, again, how you categorize and structure information. You want to make sure that the categories you have are mutually exclusive, so there's no overlap. You want to make sure that they're holistic, so they include all of the information on your site. Say if you have various tabs at the top of it, or various buttons that describe what's underneath it within your site. You want to make sure that the structure is easily understandable. We'll be talking about grids as an example of something later on that is useful. Not in this video, but in other videos. And that type of structuring of information can be really useful. In terms of another component, this label goes back to a little bit about organization and categories. So in terms of labeling systems, it's how you represent information. You want to make sure that any labels you have, say on a website, an infographic, a data visualization, or an app, that they represent the information underneath. It would be really not useful for a user if you have, say, a tab on a website and you click on the tab and the information below it does not represent what was represented by the label on the tab. So that could cause some real problems. So you want to have that being useful. You want to make sure that those labels are clear, useful, intuitive. Again, this is from Usability.gov. Another component is navigation. That's how users browse or move through information. You want to make sure that on a website that people can go through your various pieces of content really easily. You want to make sure people can move through your data visualization really easily, browse the information, your infographic or your app. The more easily they can browse and move through information, the better. The quicker they do it, the more effective it is, the more intuitive it is. Again, the better that is. Again, that's from Usability.gov. And finally, we'll talk about search. Search is how users look for information. If you have a search system, say if you have the ability to search alphabetically, that can be really useful. If you have a keyword search, you want to make sure that the keyword search uses keywords that are representative of the content underneath. You want to make sure that the search terms are easily understandable, etc., etc. And we'll be talking in various videos about some of the different components of search. So that was an introduction to information architecture. Again, my name is Dino. If you like this video, please feel free to like it. If you have any comments, please add them. Did you agree with the definition? Was it accurate? Did you agree with the goals? Were they comprehensive? Were there any goals that were missed? Are there things that information architecture helps you do that were not included? And finally, in terms of the components, were any of those more important than others? Are there any components that were missing that could be added? As always, thanks for watching. Take care.